All right, so we're going to keep talking about systems, but we're going to be solving them algebraically now. And when you're solving, there's two ways to do that. You have elimination method and you have the substitution method. So today we're going to talk about elimination. And when you think of the word elimination, that means to get rid of something. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to get rid of one of the variables, either the X or the Y. So in order to get rid of something or make them cancel out, they have to have the same variable and coefficient. For example, 2x and negative 2x. Those will cancel out. They become 0. All right. 2x minus 2x is 0. Or 4x and negative 4x. They cancel out. Or 5y and negative 5y. They cancel out. Or 11y and negative 11y. All right. Same coefficient, same variable, but the signs have to be different. I don't know if I said that the first time. The signs have to be different. Okay. Now, if they aren't different or have the same coefficient, there's some special things we can do. We'll talk about that a little bit later. All right. So let's look at an example. All right. In this problem here, all right, we have 5x minus 2y equals 12 and 6x plus 2y equals 32. All right. Our job is to figure out what x and y are. However, we want to use the elimination method and eliminate one of the variables. Okay. So we can eliminate the x variable or the y variable, but we got to see which one meets our criteria. All right. So which one has the same coefficient, same variable, but different signs? All right. Got 5x and 6x. No. Negative 2y and positive 2y. Yes. These two right here. When I combine those or add them together, I like to think about it as a sandwich. When I sandwich them together, all right, I get 0. They cancel out. Okay. So these cancel out. All right. Now what you're going to do from here, now that you've eliminated one of the variables, you're going to go ahead and add the rest of the equation together vertically. So 5x and, let me use yellow, 5x and 6x, when we add those together, we get 11x. Okay. And then over here, 12 and 32, when I add those together, I get 44. So here's my new problem. 11x equals 44, and we eliminated the y variable. Now we can solve, because you can't solve when you have two variables. All right, so divide by 11 on both sides. X equals 4. All right, so congratulations, we got x. But there's one more thing we got to do. We got to go find y, because with systems, your solution is an ordered pair. So an x and a y. So what we're going to do is take the x and plug it back into either equation. Doesn't matter which one you choose. We're going to plug it into one of these equations and see what we get. All right. So let's do the bottom one. All right. So the 6x plus 2y equals 32. So instead of x this time, I'm going to plug in 4, which was the x from down here that I saw. All I'm doing is just plugging it in to that equation. Okay. So 6 times 4 plus 2y equals 32. Now I don't know what y is yet. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So let's go ahead and solve it. 6 times 4 is 24 plus 2y equals 32. Just bring everything else down. All right. Solving for y. Subtract 24 on both sides. 32 minus 24 gives us 8. So 2y equals 8. And then we're going to divide both sides by 2. Y equals 4. So x and y equal 4. So here's our whole answer. The solution is 4, 4. Okay? So there's your x, there's your y. 4, 4. All right? So let's do that again. Let's go through another example. All right. Now pay attention to this one. And if you need to rewind the other one to look at it again and try to understand, you can pause it and go back. It's up to you. All right. Now this one, all right, we want to use elimination method. to solve this problem here. Both in standard form. By the way, you want them to both be in standard form. They have to be lined up, x's over x's, y's over y's, your constant over the constant. Okay, so 3x and 3x, right now they look like they would cancel each other out. This looks like it would. That looks like what we want to go with. But 3x plus 3x is 6x, all right? That's not what we want. We want something to cancel out. So what I have to do is change the equation so that something will cancel out. And how you do that is by multiplying one of the equations, or sometimes both of the equations, by a number. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this whole bottom equation. I could have did the top one, it doesn't really matter, and multiply it by -1. I just made that up, -1. I want to multiply the whole equation by -1. And you can do that as long as you multiply everything by -1 in that equation. That's how we manipulate equations. All right, as long as you do it to everything on both sides, you're good. Okay, so here's my new equation. It becomes -3x minus 5y equals +46. So the numbers don't change. That -1 just changed all the signs. And the whole reason we did that is so that now this 3x, trying to write 3x and -3x will cancel out. Okay, so I don't even need this equation anymore. I'm done with that. Okay, I could really erase it if I wanted to, just for, not so people aren't confused. All right, so really that equation is gone, and I'm looking at these two equations right here. All right, so these cancel out. Then I got -8y and -5y. Both are negative, so I'm going to add them. That's -13y. And then I have 19 plus 46. That gives me 65. And then I'm going to divide both sides by -13. So that gives me -5. Okay? So that's y. But I got to go back and find x. And remember what we said. You got to plug it in to one of the equations. Doesn't matter which one. I'm going to go with the top one. And let's use purple, different color. All right. So I'm going to take this -5 and I'm going to plug it in for y in this equation. So I'll rewrite it. 3x minus 8 times -5 equals 19. Okay. That's what I'm solving. That's going to give me x ultimately. So right here, -8 and 5, multiply that together. That becomes 40 equals 19. Bring down the 3x. Put a plus sign in between them since 40 is positive. Now I'm going to subtract 40 on both sides. I'm just solving a two-step equation here. Going back to sixth grade, seventh grade. Okay. So 19 minus 40 gives me -21. And I like that number because I know 3 divides into 21 evenly. Okay. So x equals -21 divided by 3 is -7. Okay. So let's put it all together. So my whole answer is, for x, -7 and y, -5. Okay, that's my solution. -7, -5. Okay. All right, one more. All right. Now on this one, notice that nothing will cancel out right now. It's not even set up. Like I can't even see any numbers that could possibly do anything. All right. So now I got to just think a little deeper. All right. So I see 2x and -4x. Is there any number I could multiply this equation by to make something cancel out? And immediately what comes to my mind is, guess what? If I multiply this by 2, that immediately, that's ugly. Let's erase that. By 2, that becomes 4x. And then guess what? They cancel out. All right, hold that thought. Or I could multiply, if I multiply this by -3, that would become -3y, and then these two would cancel out. So I got some options here. It's really up to you. I'm going to go with just multiplying 2 by the top equation. Okay. You could do -3. It's up to you. All right. So remember when we multiply something times the equation, you have to do it times everything. So this is going to become, I'm just going to write a whole new equation down here. This is going to become 4x plus 2y equals 60. Okay? So 4x plus 2y equals 60. That's this equation right here. All right? So stay with me. What I'm going to do is, so that we don't confuse everybody, I'm going to erase this equation. That's gone. If you need to see it again, just go back. Okay? And now let's solve this one. All right? This is the new one right here that we just created, the new equation. So -4x and 4x cancel out. They're gone. 3y and 2y become 5y. And then -10 plus 60 is 50. Divide both sides by 5. Nice pretty number here. Y equals 10. Okay. So now we got to go back and find our x. We got y. Let's go find x. Okay. So I'm going to use green. Let's use the top equation. So -4x. And instead of y, I'm going to put that 10 right there. So -4x plus 3 times 10 equals -10. Okay. So I got to solve this. Let's start with the multiplication here. Go ahead and combine 3 and 10. So 4x plus 30, because 3 times 10 is 30. Bring down to -10. All right. Two-step equation here. Subtracting 30 on both sides. Guess what happens? Bring down my -4x. -10 and -30 become -40. Okay. Divide both sides by -4 to get x alone, and we get a positive 10. So it's a pretty cool answer. We have 10, 10. X is 10 and y is 10. So there's our answer. Okay. All right. So that is it. If you need to rewind to see something redone, you can. And let me know if you have any questions.